Welcome to the Standards Analysis page. As the title of this page implies, this is about standards analysis, but ultimately we need to leave this page with a potential candidate phenomenon that you've identified after your analysis of the standards. So below this video, I'm going to orient you to the resources on this page. First, we'll start off with the graphic. Of course, this is just a visual to kind of show us where we are in the process. And we do start with our Florida Next Generation Sunshine State Standards for Science, but we're about to go into the unpacking of the standards and using our test item specifications resources. We're going to use those, our curriculum maps, the science and engineering practices to help us dive into potential candidate phenomena. Like I told you in the other video, this is going to be posted on a Padlet in the next page. Don't worry. At the end of this video, I'll demonstrate how you're going to do that on the Padlet on the following page. But this page, you're going to spend some time in some paper and some doing some work and probably sketching out some notes before you get to the Padlet. We're looking for the candidate phenomenon that will be strongly aligned to a standard or more during the first quarter. We know why, because we want to develop student products like the initial thinking model or that, and then ultimately get that driving question board as modeled in this course already. These two questions will be a driver of our continuous work to make sure our phenomenon is what we want it to be. How do we help students use the science practices to figure out their questions? How do we push students to go deeper and revise the science ideas we've built together so far? This is what the candidate phenomenon needs to do, is provide enough rich thinking that we are showing students opportunities to revise their thinking over time. Below this graphic are your buttons. These are links to these resources. This is a middle school page, so if you're a biology teacher, this one will say the biology test item specifications. Click on there to receive only the pages that we will be utilizing for the first quarter. It's not the whole book. This is about first quarter curriculum map pages. It's not the whole curriculum map. You can get those on your EPLC course on Canvas. And this hot button is the science practices, just page 9 of the curriculum map, because you're going to need that. And then lastly is this candidate phenomenon notes template, which I'd like to show you right now. This is just a potential tool for you to use if you'd like in order to sketch out some ideas while you're diving deep into the standards analysis using the test item specifications and the curriculum map. You can print this out or just type it out as you work with it, but there's an area for you to put the standard or the standards you're identifying as a potential phenomenon. Of course, some of these phenomenon have resources like links and tables and pictures, and this would be a place to note either the hyperlink or the source on which is necessary to utilize this phenomenon. Description of the candidate phenomenon. Like, put in your words here what the teacher may say. Maybe it's a story that leads up to a particular picture or something like that. Here, the description of the rationale, how the phenomenon aligns to the standards. This will be important because this is your justification as to why you and your colleagues would use this, that it's actually staying strongly aligned to the NGSSS. Right here, write a potential student explanation before the content is learned. It's always good to anticipate student thinking and maybe their misconceptions and the things they may say in regards to that phenomenon. Right here, what science practices would you plan for students to use to investigate this phenomenon? That's page 9 of your curriculum map, and that's why you have a hyperlink of this resource on the page, so you can get yourself familiarized with all 8 of those and see which 1 or 2 or more may naturally fit in the investigation process for your students. And lastly, it's good to write a potential student explanation after the phenomenon has been investigated through using the science practices and instructional approaches. Remember, you have all types of learners in your classroom, so you may want to kind of think, how may all of them approach this, or have a few different versions of this. What would an ELL student, ESOL student, sound like and write about in this investigation? Okay, so that concludes the orientation of this page and the resources that you'll find on this page. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to access the Padlet on the next page and what would be the expectation on posting your idea of a phenomenon. You may utilize the document that is the candidate phenomenon notes template. You may utilize that and upload it in the Padlet, as I'll show you how to upload. But you don't have to. You could just put a description as it's explained in the Padlet. After that, stick around because then we're going to go into your course specific test item specifications and your curriculum map to go over a few of the standards and an orientation of the test item specifications and those particular items that are in there. So stick around after the Padlet video as well. Okay, like I mentioned, we're going to utilize this Padlet in order to capture all the brainstorming of the potential phenomena for first quarter standards. The directions are written above, and I'll demonstrate everything I'm saying up there. But if you could try to remember to post your name at the bottom of your entry, like I did here, because everything posts anonymously, I believe, when you have this embedded in Canvas. So I'm using the biology one as an example, and these two columns are already populated in each of the Canvas courses that are doing this, each content area that's doing this Canvas course. What I have is I put the standard up here, and then what I would do is add my idea of the phenomenon that is strongly aligned to this standard, my idea. If this idea is rather lengthy and you think you'd be building a huge column here, one of the options when you do the entry is to upload a document. So you may type this out more on a Word document with pictures and other supporting details to show how strongly aligned the idea is to the standard, and then upload it here where we all can kind of look at it together. That's one option you have to do that. The other option is that, notice that's just one standard, and here, as I was mentioning in previous instruction, that we may be bundling standards if we can. So possibly these two standards, you can see this one ends right there, and then we add L1413 as 14.3 as well. And these two, this phenomenon, whatever has been brainstormed, may actually be strongly aligned to these two standards, for instance. So that's something you can do. When you jump in on this, if you see your standard already posted, then you could just post down on the bottom underneath and build upon that. If you don't see your standard posted yet, this is where the add to column feature comes in. And what I make reference to in the directions above about a scroll bar, because this scroll bar will just keep building, and this will continue to scroll to the right as far as we can go. Obviously, there'll be a benefit to building vertically, not just horizontally, but we can do either in order to capture all the brainstorming. This is what the plan is, where we can get all of our thoughts together, and you can come back and revisit this course and see how this is being built. I'm hoping we get a lot of collaboration and a lot of people taking the course, but we'll see. And I just in advance want to thank you for your openness to take on this course. And I think this is where it really will pay off, is when we get all these minds together to think this way and to work together. And again, I really appreciate all the effort. So I look forward to seeing this. Okay, so we've utilized this graphic to give us a visual of the process we're about to go into. The key thing is to identify a candidate phenomenon to utilize during first quarter. We've walked through the orientation of this page, this Canvas page, in order to know all the resources that are available through the buttons to be clicked on, and you're going to need every one of them. You've been oriented on how to post on the Padlet, and so hopefully that is clear to you. That's on the next page. But the next thing I'm going to need you to do is go to the video below this one. That's going to be another orientation in the test item specifications in your curriculum map for first quarter before you set off for work. You may want to utilize that candidate phenomenon template just to gather your thinking, and that maybe it's something you can post to the Padlet, like I mentioned. So this is where the work really gets started. I'm really looking forward to everybody's candidate phenomenon ideas. This is an exciting part of the course, and I look forward to seeing those Padlets grow.